The Gothic style arrived in Poland in the first half of the 13th century with the arrival of members of the Dominican and Franciscan orders. The first elements of the new style are evident in the foundation of the Dominican Trinity Church in Kraków, built by Bishop Iwo Odrowąż. Another of the earliest manifestations of the Gothic in Poland was the rebuilding of the Wrocław Cathedral, which started in 1244. The earliest building was completely covered in Poland. Built in Gothic style chapel is considered street Hedwig in Trzebnica in the monastery of Cistercian. In the north and west of the country, there are some scarce Romanesque predecessors. Most Gothic buildings in Poland are made of brick and belong to the Baltic brick Gothic, especially in northern Poland. Nonetheless, not all Gothic buildings in Poland are made of brick. For example, the Wrocław Cathedral in Kraków is mostly stone-built. Poland also has some Gothic fieldstone churches, mostly of relatively small size. The centers of Polish Gothic are Kraków, Gdansk, Torun, Wrocław. The reign of the King Casimir the Great was the time of the greatest flowering of Gothic architecture in Poland. For the second time a similar development took place in the late Gothic phase, during the reign of Casimir the Jagiellonian. In the region of Malopolska, buildings were built of brick with stone blocks to the implementation details. Churches built in the area are often two-nave, are also found very high Basilica of the Isles. Silesia resembles Gothic's solution of Malopolska with influences from the Czech. Here, too, in addition to the blows of stone, bricks were used. One of the characteristics is the location of the tower, at the intersection of the transept of the church choir on the southeast. The architecture of the northern lands strongly influenced patterns inspired by the Teutonic Order state buildings and other cities of Hansa. Brick churches are mainly Pomerania halls of mighty towers, usually situated in the main axis. Much less common is the basilica. In Mazovia not developed different forms of Gothic. Occurring on this earth, buildings are characterized by rather simplified forms already known. Castles, from the 13th century, began to modernize the seat of royal and princely, expanding existing buildings' functional program, and building castles, which initially could be built only with the consent of the ruler. For this reason, the oldest castles have public character of the building. Initially, in the 13th century, the characteristic elements of the locks were placed in a row within the wood-earth castles, so the first castles were irregular in shape. After the mid-13th century abandoned the construction palatia to be connected rather with the earlier epoch. Regular shape of castles spread throughout the Polish kingdom in the reign of Casimir the Great, and built them into this shape, even in areas of previous castles. Castles and monasteries built by Joannites and the Teutonic Order in the state created by them in Prussia and bishops. The castles were built of final defense towers and residential towers. The best preserved Gothic castles are, in Lesser Poland, Chesiny, Odrykon, Zorston, Niedzika, Kazimierz Dolny, Bobolis, Bedzon, Lipowiec, Ogrodzeniec and others on Trail of the Eagle's Nests. In northern Poland, built by the Teutonic Order in Malbork, Nidzica, Golub, Radz and Chelminski, Niew, or on the strongholds modelled in Kwidzyn, Lidzbark, Warminski, Olsztyn, Riesul in Mazovia, Castle in Czechnow, Czesk, Liw in Greater Poland, Castle in the Kolo, Zamotulilik, Gerlankas, Lechika in Lower Silesia, Siedlesen Tower, Bolko, Chovnik, Migrod, Wynie. Town halls. A town hall called Ratus was a symbol of a city's power in the Middle Ages. Around the town hall were other buildings associated with the function of the urban organism. hall, municipal building, wait, merchant stalls and pillory. Examples of unconverted later Gothic town halls include the Wrocław Town Hall, the Old Town Hall in Torun, and town halls in Chovna, Gdansk and Szczecin. Only the Gothic tower of the Ratus Town Hall in Krakov has survived. Houses. Existing settlements received in the 13th and 14th centuries tracking new laws. Urban area is usually divided grid of streets perpendicular to the plot by creating a chessboard layout. Residential buildings in the upper reaches is still built of wood or timber framed art. In order to prevent the transmission of fire during the fire, often the wall was increased at the border of two adjacent parcels and tracts of gable roof receives addressed to the agent. Facades of houses stepped at triangular peaks. Houses of rich burghers sometimes received in the form of a richer decor. More often it was a topic mimicking polychrome wall and Wimperge tracery. An example of building in the Gothic style is the House of Copernicus in Torun, in San Dimas de Lugos House. Oldest building of Jagiellonian University, Collegium Maius, building on Ul. Laut Siena 22 in Torun. Town walls and town gates. The city walls surrounded, sometimes in place of the earlier shafts, and such investment is carried out for many years, making frequent upgrades. Older consolidation often was increased. The sequence is often interrupted by walls tower. Cities sometimes receive new, second belt walls, leading to the ornate gates of cities often preceded the late Gothic period Barbican army connected with them neck. First, this form of defense on Polish soil was established in Torun, Barbican Staro-Toruńskie of 1426. The best preserved in Poland Barbican in Kraków. To this day preserved fragments of walls, of which most survived the gate, for example, in Sidlo, Sandomierz, Kraków Street, Florian's Gate and the Kraków Barbican. Significant parts of the walls have been preserved in Stargard, Pierzyce, Byczyna, Torun. In Chelmno and Punchkov city walls are preserved almost in its entirety. Churches. Gothic churches can be found all over Poland, especially in major cities of late medieval Poland, including Kraków, Wrocław, Gdansk. The St. Mary's Church in Gdansk is the largest brick church in the world. The Pelplin Cathedral in Pelplin, Pomerania is one of the largest churches in Poland. Kraków Street, Mary's Basilica and Wawel Cathedral are among the most recognizable landmarks of entire Poland. Other buildings.